Hi guys, it's Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, and today we bring you an awesome tool that is good for pen testers and red teamers alike who participate in offensive security activities or bug bounty events. This tool is a tool that helps you to scan for open GitHub repositories or GitHub instances that are available on the target domains that you as a pen tester is hunting for bugs or vulnerabilities in a bug bounty campaign. So the essence of this tool is just basically to scan through the website or various directories of the website of the domain supplied and look for instances of GitHub or open GitHub parts or services that exist on the website of the target, and possibly download the contents of the GitHub for you to inspect for various sensitive informations and configuration files that you can use to exploit the target, and of course report the vulnerability as is the right thing to do and earn some bounty reward for that. So without further ado, let's get started. So today's tool is GitScanner. GitScanner is an open source tool, and it's also a fast tool for scanning GitHub repositories that exist on a target. The tool is also descriptive with an on-screen direction of instructions required or expected from the user who is using this tool. In this case, you, that is the offensive security expert, or red teamer that is using this tool to exploit the given target. The tool is also easy to install. There are no advanced technicalities required in installing this tool. It's just a straight instructions and directions on how to install these tools. So there is no need of you expecting situations whereby the tool is not properly working on your Kali Linux machine, running on your VirtualBox, or some advanced configurations that you need to do on the system for you to get the tool working. The last point is that it supports both individual domain scan and bulk domain scan. So if you just have an endpoint of a target that you want to scan for open Git accounts or instances on the website, you can push the domain by following the on-screen instruction and supplying the inputs that is requested by the tool to request for the various domain type in terms of individual domains or bulk domains you want to scan of the target. So to download this tool, you have to head on to GitHub, the official account of FIXITGEARWARE, where this tool is hosted, and look for the repository that has the GitScanner. However, today we'll be installing this tool and we'll be demonstrating this tool as well for you to understand how it works and how you can use it in your bug bounty event. So without wasting much of your time, let's get our Kali Linux machine fired up and get the GitScanner installed. So right now we log into our Kali Linux machine, and we open our terminal or launch your terminal. Then we navigate to the official website of the FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY GitHub account, and here we can see a series of information. Right now, under the installation, there are two types of installation. This is the first part and this is the second part, but to make it easy for you to understand, we'll be using the second instances and installing the tool, and of course demonstrate how the tool works as well. But before we do that, let's read a few instructions that was given by the author of this tool. Now, in terms of the bulk file or individual file domains, the author specifically instructed that each of the domains has to commence with the HTTPS or HTTP followed by the target domain name. So we know that most times when you use tools such as subfinders to, scan for subdomains of a target, these subdomains that were discovered is output in a file, right, do not contain this HTTPS or HTTP protocol, and of course let's say you have about 1 million subdomains and you want to scan for open gates, right? It will be difficult for you to start inserting this HTTPS and HTTP to those subdomains. However, do not worry. We'll show you how you can do this within a split of seconds, like within 3 to 5 seconds. You can get all the subdomains to either have HTTPS or HTTP, depending on what protocol the subdomain is running. And this also will be showing you how to do that in a very simple steps using a special tool. Now for the extractor, so the author of this tool said when using the extractor, make sure the location of the Git repositories that you select are correct. Remember, the first option is for imputing the selected Git repository, and the second option is for imputing the destination folder. Let's say we have a domain that has a Git that is open. In this case, it will be considered to be vulnerable. Then we have to now give an instruction of what to do next, and of course impute the destination folder in terms of the path where we want the output of the file to be downloaded to. And on the requirements here, the author of this tool stated that we should install this following commands: tool, the call, the bash, the git, and the set. So by default, latest Kali Linux machine has this installed, but it's also advisable to check if you have them installed before installing these tools to ensure you don't have issues with that. So let's get started. We can just reduce this here. Now we start with the requirements. We can come in and say sudo apt get install. Although we have this installed, but we just want to show you. Then we supply our password. You can see we already have this, right? So we can just come here and insert bash. And we also have that installed, right? Then we come here, we specify git, and we also have that installed. Then the last one is sed, right? And we come here, we specify sed, and we also have that installed. Now, before we commence this tutorial, we've already updated our Kali Linux box or machine. However, it's always advisable before you install any new tool or run certain commands that has to clone certain repositories, you should always install the update and upgrade. And of course, you should know how to do that. But if you don't know how to do that, you can just say sudo apt get install, no, sudo apt get update, and sudo apt get upgrade. Then you put the -y. So the -y argument is to say yes to all instructions that might require you to insert the yes command or supply the y command, which means yes, to install various packages. So we wouldn't be doing this because we have just updated and upgraded our Kali Linux machine, and we do not need that. So the next thing we want to do is to just come here. We copy this first to clone the repository, and we come here, we paste clipboard, and we hit enter. Now it's cloned. We can now say cd to GitScanner. If you're wondering why do we use this, you can remember the end of the repository is this. So this is the directory of the repository, and we have to put it here. And if you look at this instruction here, that says cd to the directory of the clone. So we can now hit enter. And if we ls to list the files, we can see everything is here, right? So this image basically is this image background. You probably will be seeing this when we finally run the tool. So the next thing we want to do is this. We copy this command. No need to start typing or showing skills. Just copy this and we come here, we paste. So we've pasted this. Let's increase this so you can see what's happening. So we hit enter. Okay, there's a problem. We can come back here again. We made a mistake. We're not supposed to copy the two commands, these two. We're supposed to copy only this one. So let's copy this one. It's okay. We'll remove that command. We come here, we paste clipboard, and we hit enter. Now this should be done. So we can now play and we can now exit the directory. Now the next thing we want to do is just say git scanner and we hit enter. Now you can see the git scanner is running, right? Now it tells us about the author, the GitHub link, the code name, the version. So now on the on-screen instruction, we have that 1 is scanner and dumper menu, 2 is scanner only menu, 3 is dump only menu, 4 is extractor, 5 is exit. So now if we want to scan a particular domain and we also want to dump the GitHub repository found on that domain or website or target, we just say 1. Now we'll be moved to another on-screen instruction. Now the next on-screen instruction says 1 scanner and dumper for mass target. So this basically is if we have a file that has a list of domain names and which we'll be demonstrating later for you to see, then we select this option. Then this one is for single target. So let's say we just want to scan a single target. In this case, we'll be demonstrating with our website. Then we'll select this option. Then 3 is back to the previous menu, which is also the main menu before we got here. And 4 is to exit to 2. So now we want to do for a single target, scanner and dumpster, right? So we can just come in and say 2. And now as you can see, it gives us an instruction that we should enter the target following this format. So we have to follow this format in entering our target. So in this case, our FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY is using HTTPS. So it's secured website. So we can say HTTPS. Then do not include the www. Ignore the www or the World Wide Web acronym. Just put the domain name. So in this case, we can just put our website. And the next thing we do is hit enter. And we just wait for the tool to do its magic. And as you can see, it's very fast. Within a split of seconds, it tells us that, oh, this target is not vulnerable. So there is no open Git instances here. So now let's clear this and let's demonstrate with a domain, a real life target. But for security purposes, we'll be blurring out the domain name. So we do not get sued by the owner of this domain name. So to do this, let's just pick a random domain name we are pen testing right now. So I can say subfinder. So basically subfinder is that we want to look for the subdomain name to the domain name we are going to supply right now. So we can just say subfinder -h. It's just to show you the instructions of what we are doing. So -d is for a particular domain, right? And DL is a list of domain. So in this case, we just want to do for a particular domain. So we can just say subfinder -d. Then we'll say the domain name. Sorry, we'll be blurring out this domain name. Okay, then we pass it out to a file. Let's say we want to put it on the desktop, right? Then we can call it p1.txt. Now we hit enter and wait for subdomain to do its stuff. So it tells us that 0 subdomains were discovered. So apparently we entered the wrong subdomain. So let's look for the target subdomain we want to do. Okay. Okay, so let's just pick just this domain. So we're blurring this out. Now we come back here. We say subfinder -d. Then we paste clipboard. Okay, why is this not copying? So let's just come in, we say subfinder -d, then we paste the subdomain we want to look for, then we say the output to be in desktop, then we name it p1.txt. Now the reason why we're demonstrating this is that, remember previously we said that for you to use the GitScanner to scan a bulk domain, right? You have to specify the HTTPS protocol followed by the list of domain. But you know, when you're doing subfinder or you're scanning massive domain names, you're not going to have the HTTPS appended to those subdomains, not all the time, depending on the target. So now we have gotten our subdomains, right? Now if we go to desktop and we cut p1.txt, you can see we're blurring these domains out. You can see there is no HTTPS, right? Now you might be asking, how do I include HTTPS to all this domain before using the GitScanner? This is where the trick comes in, because let's say you have about 1 million domains obtained from the subdomain enumeration, right? You don't have that time to start typing HTTPS or HTTP to each of those domain enumeration. And not just that, also you want to get the actual protocol that that domain is using, and this is where we apply the tool called HTTPX. So HTTPX is a very good tool. It's not just about checking if a domain is alive or okay. You can also use it massively to append the protocol to the list of subdomain you enumerated from a target. Now, as you can see, this domains obtained, there is no HTTPS or HTTP at the end of these domains, right? So this is what we do. We just come here, we'll say HTTPX. Of course, you should know how to use this tool, -L for a list of domain, right? So we can say, go to our desktop and look for p1.txt. Then we want HTTPX to scan this domain, but we do not want any status code or server information or other arguments to be introduced into this scan. So we just want HTTPS to pass the various protocol for us with these easy steps. So now we want to also output the file of the scan that is conducted by HTTPS, right? So we can say output to our desktop. Then let's call it p1 new.txt, and we hit enter. Then wait for a while for HTTPS to do its thing. So I think within 2 minutes or so, depending on the connectivity of our network. As you can see, our network signal is quite a bit low. So this is completely done, right? So we can now clear this. And if we go to our desktop and we say cat p1new.txt, and as you can see, all the domains have been appended with either HTTPS or HTTP. For the ones that are HTTP, it will append HTTP, and for the ones that are HTTPS, it will append HTTPS. So let's see. So you can see, do we have any HTTP here? So apparently, yeah, we have a few. As you can see here, there's HTTP, there's HTTP, there's HTTP. So this is done, right? So the next thing we want to do is just to clear this. And we can either run the GitScanner from our desktop or anywhere in our computer on our Kali. So the next thing we want to do is just say GitScanner. Okay. Now we select the instruction, we say 1. Then we say mass target. Now it tells us the path to the file .txt. So in this case, it's on our desktop, right? So we'll say tilde desktop p1new.txt, and we hit enter. Okay, so it says error, file not found. It's okay. Okay, so we say desktop p1 new.txt. It. So as you can see, we're seeing maybes, right? You can see a few maybes, right? And this is how fast this tool is. Sorry about the domains, we have to blur them out, but we'll leave the places that says maybe. And this is how easy you can use this tool to scan a target, even if it's 1 million, 1 billion, no matter how big the target is. And as you can see, we already have this, right? So we can actually copy these domains that are vulnerable, and of course now decide if we want to dump them or not. And the tool has successfully, done this. So we wouldn't be going further to dump these GitHub repositories because it's not ideal to do this on this video. But if you see the vulnerable maybe or the vulnerable, it means that domain, that particular domain which has been scanned is vulnerable or has GitHub instances opened on the domain that was scanned. So you can now further find a way to probe it, to get the config files and other important files you can exploit. to obtain sensitive information about that target. So that's it for this tool, and we believe with this little demonstration you can be able to leverage this tool and subsequently exploit your various targets and find ways to obtain sensitive information about these targets. So that's all for this week with Tools Friday, and we hope this video has demonstrated this tool perfectly well for you to understand and how to use it. So if you find this video interesting, please do not forget to give us a like by tapping that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when next we post a video on Tools Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.